We are so glad you made it. We are going to potentially find out if Terra is going to make it, if Azuki is going to make it. More on that live today.
So the market cap is $2.168 trillion. And now the market, it went to zero. Yeah!
Club ngmi.
Welcome. Today, I'll change the view to this one. Today we are danguless, you might notice, but we've gained Sneaky, one of the members of Club ngmi. He's here. It's one of the wildest days we've had in the space, kind of spanning across everything. NFTs are down, coins are down, people are getting exposed as potentially scam artists. Other people are getting exposed as not knowing anything in the influencer space. So today, let's start. Let's start with Sneaky. How's it going? Like, first time on the show. Welcome. You wanted to come on. We're going to be doing some marble races later that are funded by Sneaky. So tell us a little quick bit about yourself here.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. A real honor. Great talking with you guys as always. Every day on Discord, and a few things have happened this week. I've had some ape sales, and thought I'd come on and talk about it and give it a bit back to the club.
Yeah, so I know one joke that Pump made earlier today was we're going to have this go around the circle and talk about the week. So we'll start with you first, because I know this could go two ways, but how has your week been?
It's been shitty. It's been terrible.
I mean, it started all right. Oh, was it Pump?
Yeah, Sneaky, you go.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, we know your week was all right.
Yeah. Well, Pump, go ahead.
It's been terrible. Last week was Saturday. Was that this last Saturday, right? We had the land mint.
That was a week ago, yeah.
Feels like 2 weeks ago.
It feels like forever. So we had the land mint. Did okay on that. Got a Gen 0 and DFK. That was fine. And then we just went like turbo nuke until today. We have this UST stuff we'll talk about. That's been going down a lot. I sold my Azuki this morning at a good price. Was happy about it. And then rebought after some FUD. So I don't know. I don't know what to think right now.
Yeah, the keyword on the Azuki sale is this morning, because if you did it later in the day, it would have been a little worse. But I know we were talking before we hopped on, and Trey, you were saying that you were looking into selling in Azuki as well. So I guess talk a little about that, because you've been thinking about it this week as things are starting to dip a little.
Yeah, I mean, after the land sale last week, I mean, it was kind of my thesis all along that there's like, not that I thought that it was the top, but that there was always like that chance that it was like this big, massive sale taking how much out of the ecosystem. So at that point, I knew that I was a little bit over leveraged NFTs. So me and Bose were even talking in Azuki like, hey, now might be a good time to take profits if you have like multiple. So I listed one of mine. I have 3. I listed that one at, I think the floor is 32. I listed it at just slightly above because I thought maybe I could get a slight premium on it. But that ended up burning me because I ended up chasing that floor. I mean, literally all the way down from, 32 to where it ended this morning. I ended up selling one this morning for 17 and a half, I think. So I mean, I'm happy that I beat Pump's sale on his red. or was it blue? The blue. So I mean, I can kind of take that as a little consolation. But and then we got the Azuki stuff that came out later, so it ended up being a decent decision. Never fun to sell. I mean, I always kind of planned to hang on to those Azukis, to be honest, but it was the right time to take some profits. I bought it at 3.5. I got 17 for it, so I don't think you can be mad at that, even though, I mean, literally a week ago it was like almost a 35 ETH floor. So that hurts a little bit, but all in all, I got to have perspective on it. So it ended up working out.
And Babs, you were talking to me about the idea of de-risking. So what kind of de-risking have you done this week?
Oh, I had a good week. I sold all my ETH at 3,000 the week before. I sold all my blue chip bags that were pumping up to 35 floor the week before. I did all those things. I timed the top perfectly, and so I'm just sitting pretty right now. But I done that. I'm down bad. I haven't de-risked anything really. I mainly tried to sell off some of the stuff that I was like not attached to for long term. So some of like my ether works, but those things are liquid as can be. I tried to sell some of my, like 0.5 bags that I don't really care about. I struggled de-risking all my blue chips because nice cat, Sneaky. Like I have a Mac, a Azuki, like Trey and Gump were talking about. I have a Koda. Like none of that stuff I really wanted to sell. Again, I wish I would have last week, but I didn't. And now you sit and watch the floor crash all day long, and you kind of freeze. You don't really know what to do. No one wants to sell the bottom. Obviously wish I would have sold it 48 hours ago or today, but it is what it is. It happens. You kind of go through these cycles and, live and learn, right?
It's impossible to time the top or the bottom on a lot of these things. Cause I know like beans today, like I was trying to time it. I got one at 1.75. And then when you see like people start selling it at 1.3, then you're like, oh shit, like this isn't going to come back up ever again. I think it's back over 2 now, but it's just, it's crazy out there because on one hand, that's where all the volume is right now, even though like they're the ones getting fudded. If you wanted to sell something, it's a lot easier to sell an Azuki right now than say a CloneX probably. CloneX also is down in like the 12, 13 range, but eyes are on Azuki. So it's like a weird setup in that regard. But I wanted to, while we had Sneaky on the show, can you tell us a little about the reasonings behind you buying, selling, rebuying into the apes in the past week?
Well, I mean, basically, I'm an idiot, so that's the main reason. Well, I mean, the first sale was a good idea, getting out at around 115 ETH or so. And I mean, I blame this mainly on Babs because we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you should buy that in." So we both looked at the floor and found a great noise for eighth, and thought it was at a good discount. So I mean, buy back in, and then everything went to shit. So.
It would have been like a better buy if you predicted that the market was going to go to absolute shit a week later. I guess the downside is like the Elon thing. Like when Sneaky bought it, the Elon.
Oh yeah,
thing,
Elon's in. Yeah.
Like Sneaky sold his ape and got mad that he sold his ape on the Elon pump, and then he was like, "Well, I want to buy back in," and but at that time you didn't really know if it was real or not, right? Like you weren't sure if he actually bought one. It felt like it could have been real, and it did pump back to like 120 at one point, right? And Sneaky bought one that was a rare-ish one for below that, and it just didn't work out.
It was mid-tier, so that's never buy mid-tier.
But it was the noise one. I mean, the one that we had, it fit on the thumbnail pretty well because it's also a crying one.
So if you took an L on it, at least you can have the little bit of consolation that we got a good thumbnail.
I mean, people do like those noise ones, and I think they come out pretty nice on the mutants. Do you have any of the serums? Does anybody still have any of the serums? in
No,
there?
I sold my last M1. Got a decent price for it, so that was positive
Yeah.
out of all of this.
Did you use
Yeah,
a serum on yours, Babs? Like
I
the
did,
original?
and then I sold it. I sold it right away. I sold it like I think within 48 hours. Yeah, I'm not patient like Sneaky Diamond handed it for 4 months, and Sneaky can't really complain like how much money he made off of his ape. Like all in all, it's a good win, even though he, bought and sold for cheaper than he bought it for a week ago. But I mean, at the end of the day, everyone makes mistakes. If we were all time in the top all the time and making every call right, we wouldn't be doing this show anymore. Probably would be retired at some island.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was only a $375 investment, so that's the that's the nice part of that.
It was.
wasn't Sneaky
I don't know
second
what
guy.
the dollar
Sneaky
is right
second guy.
now.
He paid a lot for his. Sneaky second guy.
That was my biggest second guy. That was my
Right?
biggest.
Wow.
I hope that was your biggest, because if you've been making 100 ETH pies on stuff, besides
No, I
that,
think he's talking about the
His
one
first
before,
one,
isn't he?
sorry, his
His
original
first
one.
one.
Yeah.
Then he
yeah.
got below
Yeah.
like that was less than 20, right?
Yeah, that was 15.
15.
That was my biggest
That's
at
what I
the
thought.
time
15.
as well.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And shout out to Babs for helping me out there.
Yeah. Which was a lot back then, right? To have conviction
Yeah.
to
It
spend that
was.
much, right?
It
Like,
That was a lot for
Yeah.
sure. Because what was that, August?
I don't
Yeah.
even know.
yeah, it was
Something like
before
that.
me, like when mutants dropped, they
It had
dropped
to
in
be.
August, right? Because it was way before mutants. so
Maybe
it was-
September.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because
mutants were in
after-
August because I was on vacation. It was like near the end of August at the
Yeah.
latest. Yeah,
That's when you were at the cottage with your family and you got your
Was.
50th Geo Runner and
That was a
another
good
thing.
week.
Good
What a
week.
deal
Good
is that?
Good week for me. They might have pumped a bit on that art block scam pump we had.
They did.
last
Oh,
week,
yeah.
too.
Did they really?
All
Did
of
any
them
of you
were
guys
pumped.
still
They're,
have
uh,
art blocks into that?
Oh yeah. I have
You do?
Did
Which
you sell
ones?
into it?
2 curateds left, 3 curateds left. And they're all
I don't have any curateds left.
they're terrible.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
mine.
Pump, what ones do you have still? I'm surprised you hung on to those.
Well,
have
you were forced to hang on if you waited to a certain point. Like
Yeah.
there's literally no liquidity. like some of those projects literally have no sales in like the last 30 days.
So I've got the flagship shitty art blocks project. When it all started to crumble.
trust
I'm sharing my
Squiggles?
screen, Lou.
You want me to show it?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
The Trosset.
Trust,
Oh.
it's
Oh my
The
god,
worst-
the
worst
bad.
Curated
Trust, this
project.
was the beginning of the end for
Oh,
all.
this all time.
No, it was already the writing was already on the wall.
No,
That
Trust was the first
was
one
No.
you lost money
Really?
on. Trust
Yeah.
was the
Okay.
first one
was-
that was like
It was
you-
right after Geo Runners.
Yeah, you had about 2 hours maybe where you could have made like a 0.1, 0.2 profit, and that's like it. Otherwise, you were
definitely
like
waited too
dust
long
the
on
whole
those.
time.
Yeah.
Yep, it was right after Geo Runners, and then I've got this piece of trash right here that's terrible, and then this one. This is the other curated I have.
I actually like
didn't-
those ones.
I don't think I minted that one.
I
Where was
sold
it?
that one. I sold that
They-
one for
they
what's
look
the
cool.
floor ad for that? Oh, I think I probably sold it less than that, I think.
0.35. So I don't know. I'm glad that chapter of my life is over.
Yeah.
I feel it was such like a print fest though. Like back in June, July, August, September.
It was ridiculous.
And we were
you
so
couldn't
dumb.
lose. You literally could not lose.
But we couldn't quit.
Yeah.
Our problem is we couldn't quit it. We kept minting after the fact, even though it wasn't good. Like
Yeah.
that was my biggest problem is like not being able to walk away.
Well, because the rares were still good. Like if
Yeah.
you hit a rare, you were still
Yeah.
selling it.
Well, that's because there's like one guy that would buy every single project, the rares on
Yeah.
all of them, and if you got one, you could just list it for like an ETH or two above floor, and it would sell to him.
It was crazy that those pumped randomly. Though the reason they pumped is because there was one big squiggle
Squiggle?
sale, right? That's
mean,
like what
isn't
started
that-
it.
Isn't that kind of what started the entire market? Like, there's probably one big.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, squiggles, whatever.
We need the Spirit DAO to hop in and make a couple big Azuki sales or buys, and then they'll be happy again over there. But
Should we talk about Azuki? Like, what's everyone's thoughts? Like, is it
what does he say?
Are people upset about the FUD? Is it too much, the FUD? Like,
Should we do does someone have a really good description or lowdown of funks and zunks and the chicken strips that they could just give everyone a like preview of it, of like how all those went down? Because that was a long time ago. Like I maybe owned them, I think, but like I don't exactly remember how each one of those went down, like if they were true rugs from the beginning or how that worked.
So like
Yeah.
Funks was he basically created them, like flipped all the 10,000 original punks and created funks, and like they were pretty dusty at the start, and they got like the DMCA letter from Larva Labs and like had to delist them for a bit, and I don't think it like did much. And I think like the Azuki owner at the time, who we found out is the Funks owner or creator, he kind of just said like, I'm not doing anything else with it. Like I'm turning it over to the community, and the community kind of took it over, made their own marketplace, like took over the Discord. So he kind of just like walked away from it for the most part. Like, am I getting that right? The history.
And what was the mint price of these? So these weren't
Funks
free,
were-
correct?
Funks
Like
were-
these
yeah, I
were
think.
these costed money.
Free-
You made money off.
I
these,
think
right?
Funks
Funks
were
were
free,
free.
or
Yeah.
0.01.
Funks,
0.01.
they were cheap. Yeah, they were cheap.
Zunks were
Okay.
cheap too.
They were 0.01.
Yeah. So Funks were cheap, and like there wasn't a roadmap or anything. Like I think the whole project was flip punks. Like here you go.
Yeah,
So
it's like
is it
Yeah.
considered a rug? Like
I don't
no,
really consider that a rug. Like
it's all the other.
It seems like
stupid-
everybody knew. Yeah, everybody knew what they were getting into when they jumped into funks. Like
Yeah, it
flip
was
funks, like
literally the
everybody's
flip
getting into a
version.
Ponzi. Like literally, just buy it so you can sell it for more to some sucker that's willing to be your exit liquidity.
Yeah.
That's
Franklin
like
made a
I don't.
fortune on it, I think.
oh yeah,
I'm
they
sure he
pumped for
tweeted
a
about it,
while
too.
after. They pumped for like a good. I think the floor got up to like 0.8 or 1 or something.
Well,
Two.
Got over
they-
two at one point.
Once all that FUD started coming on with Larva Labs, wasn't that kind of when like funks kind of stepped in and were like, oh, we like I think they almost got some legitimacy when punks were like just, or Larva Labs was just shitting all over the IP and all that stuff. Like all that FUD was going on with punks, and funks were coming in like, yo, you know, you can come over to the dark side or whatever. So I at least I remember when that happened. I at least for a little bit thought like, hey, maybe there is some legitimacy to this if Larva Labs truly like completely drops the ball.
Yeah.
But they obviously ended up getting bought out by Yuga, and
Yeah.
the story writes itself.
And then Zunks, I remember a bunch of us got into that one because that was it was kind of a fun minting process. You could like re-roll the traits before you minted it. And so I think you had to pay, like you had to pay 0.02, right? Or something like that, where you could pay for a re-roll, and then maybe you re-rolled like a zombie
right.
or something.
You could keep some of the traits, right? Like I think you could like select, hey, I want to keep this one and I want to reroll one. Cost you, I think 0.1 or 0.2 every time. But again, like the gas was high, so it wasn't really like the contract was expensive every time you did one of those rerolls. So it wasn't just the 0.01 or 0.02, it was the gas. So it was expensive and didn't quite work. And I think that's again why he kind of walked away from it, is that the concept didn't work. Again, is that a rug? Yeah, debatable.
Well, the FUD on Zunks was people are saying they were posing as women-led team. And
I did see that. Which is that true? Because that
I don't know. I don't remember that one.
That is.
There are some that
there were so
that was
many,
around the time.
There were so many projects that were doing that though. It wasn't.
That was
even,
meta.
I couldn't even keep track of. Yeah, that was.
That was the meta
in a really fucked up way. That was the meta, was to like act like you were a chick and launch a project. Yeah, and just tail on the backs of World of Women, I guess. Yeah, I just realized I minted Zunks. I pulled up my OpenSea. I didn't even remember.
Yeah, they dusted pretty quick, I think, but you had a chance to maybe sell the rare ones.
I think I maybe I don't think I think I probably lost money on Zunks, but that's okay.
Yeah, they both pumped a little today, which was weird because they pumped up and Azuki related stuff came down. Like earlier when the tweet came out, I was checking on the Funks floor and it was 0.2 and then it went up to like 0.4. There was a lot of sales on Funks. So it's just interesting to watch how like the market reacts to things like this. Do you guys think, and you were all Azuki holders as of like last week, or not you, Sneaky? So I guess, what do you guys think now of like the project? Is this something that you could see them recovering from? Is this just a short-term FUD thing, or potentially more stuff comes out? Because as of now, like, you could very easily sell off an Azuki and get into one of these others. CloneX is right under it. You have Moonbirds, Doodles is coming out with something this week as well. Like, there's a few in that range right now that if you wanted to offload and just sort of switch blue chips, you could. So has this changed any of your guys' minds as far as Azuki as a project longer term?
It does for me a bit. Sorry, go ahead.
So Storm made a good point. If your devs have the background, does it limit upside if big brands don't want to work with them for that reason? Were Zunks and Funks rugs, like, their NFTs are still there? I don't know if they're on chain or not. They didn't say you're getting a share of the royalty. Like,
it wasn't overpromised.
It is such a it's such a gray area. Like it really is.
Do they have an obligation to stick out with projects that are going nowhere? Right? Like are they not allowed to move on ever?
Especially
right?
When it was
that's
like,
kind of the crux of the argument.
Especially when it was during peak euphoria, and literally like people were just like, we were almost just in like, we were buying these projects just so that we could make money on them and that we could flip them. Like, any project that came out during that period, we had a very, I mean, our feeling, I think everybody's feeling was like, oh yeah, like nobody's holding this for a month or two. This is just to buy and flip like immediately. So everybody knew going in that these projects weren't going to last. Funks and Zunks really, like, I mean, it would have been a crazy narrative that would have had to gotten latched on to Funks or Zunks for it to truly be lasting. So I think everybody was just looking at it as like a short term, this is how we can make money type thing. And nobody even cared that I don't remember hearing anything about people being upset that Zunks or Funks rugged back in August or September. I don't really remember that, but maybe I'm just misremembering. I don't know.
Funks seemed like
they were passionate, right? Like that crowd was very passionate for a while. But I think that was after they already gave up the project, right? Like I think they were passionate when they were community led, I think. Mm-hmm. But like it was nothing before that. So like I don't know. Like he walked away from it when it was nothing, I thought, right?
Were Funks the one that got traded on NFT, like the other NFT marketplace?
That was
or was that the other Punk? Oh, that was an ape derivative. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. I get all the derivatives.
That's the other thing with Funks is
I get them all
could argue like complete opposite, because after Crypto Funks happened, it was like any big project had the PH version in front of it. So they kind of led a movement of just flipping the PFP.
It is funny how the Funks and Zunks kind of mooned or got price action, and then their floor price went up, and then Zuki's went down. I think it's just because they're connected to now a good creator, right? People almost look at them like that, but then also like Zuki's already had the good creator priced in, so the fact that they were involved with rugs meant that their floor price went down. It's a really interesting dynamic for sure.
So Philly wants the sneaky take on why apes are fudding Azuki so hard. Why is his community so toxic?
Not his community anymore.
I don't want to represent the apes. I mean, I'm no longer an ape next so
you don't have a mutant or anything? You have no exposure to
I have a Koda. I didn't mint one, but second guide one at 25, so that was another great decision.
Sneaky, would you buy an Azuki now that you know this info? Because you were kind of like looking at it a bit. Like what's your stance now?
I've never looked at them. I've always hated them.
Oh really?
What?
I hate the.
How do you hate Azukis?
It's just it's too weak for me. I don't know. I don't like the art. But now, I also missed the mint. I think that also played a part. That like,
come on,
it's not on Gen Wealth. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I think the FUD is pretty bad. Can they come back? Well, my problem right now is that I don't want to buy anything in these market conditions. So like,
Yeah.
even if there's high potential for these NFTs, if coins is zero, I mean, what the fuck? It's not going to mean anything anyway.
The people want to know if the noise ape that I used on this thumbnail was if we have to alert the police and I need to change this.
Yeah, I mean the cops are on their way right now.
I did not realize that because it was still your PFP.
I'm surprised
when I
Easy
made
didn't change. to be honest.
So
Like,
he's,
how did
I've
you not
changed it. I've changed
he
my
sold
PFP.
it. Yeah, he's a Moonbird again. He
I'm
sold
a
it
Moonbird.
sneakily, very sneakily today because he didn't want the. He didn't want
it was
people
in a
tripping
vault.
on him.
So I assumed that was your vault. It was called like Vault Bird. I was like, oh, it's probably where he puts his moonbirds and stuff. Because I just assumed that it was still yours. I didn't realize that
No,
you sold it. Wow.
It is
private sale today,
Well,
sneakily.
So I
Yeah.
guess who do we think is going to be the big winner from this? Is it going to be Moonbirds? I know that like at one point in time it was BAYC and Punks are up there, and then people are fighting for that second one. And there was a time where Azuki was like clearly number 2, like leading that second tier. Is this going to pave way for Moonbirds to top that tier, or potentially a different one? You think? You guys are all Moonbird holders, right?
No.
I feel like the poor of this episode today because I don't have Moonbird. I don't have a.
I don't have a
Azuki.
Moonbird.
Yeah, Trey sold
I
his.
sold
Remember?
mine. I sold mine red. I held a Moonbird for like a solid 6 hours.
So, like me personally, like the Azuki news, like I was having a hard time trying to decide what bag I wanted to sell, and for me personally, the Azuki news kind of made it maybe a little easier to want to sell that one over some of my other ones, and probably made me want to hold my Moonbird a little bit more, just because at least we know who Kevin Rose is. We know, like if FUD can quickly crash a floor that hard on a non-dev teams, it kind of makes me question, how confident I am in holding some of this stuff if that's all it takes for it to crash 40%, right? Like goes back, and that was what's considered a top 5 NFT project. Like how bad is our space right now if that's like, what a top project is, and like it kind of makes me a little scared. Like maybe we're all just a bunch of dummies here, but I don't know. Maybe that's just all the market conditions and all the bad 48 hours all kind of coming together at once.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of tough because just with everything going down and just the macro, with like Biden's having that talk tomorrow that people are just chatting about, but I feel like a lot of that's probably already priced in. But just when stuff starts falling, even though we're at the same level that we were a month ago on a lot of this stuff, it's still, you remember that it was higher yesterday than today, more so, whether what it was a month ago. So I think that's a big part with it. The nice part about CloneX, so I've never really jived with the art of CloneX, but if you held it this whole time, you've gotten a lot of value back from it. The monolith was a pretty successful as far as like a drop that they had. They've had a few other things. So from that standpoint, like CloneX has been a good investment for people, but are they just everything backed by Nike connecting to them, which might not be the worst thing either because Nike has a lot on the line. This could hurt Azuki to get like partnerships. Yeah, go ahead.
If I gotta say something about ClownX, if they didn't have Nike, they would be like Bape's level of.
They would be so trash.
Bad.
It's not even funny.
Like,
they do have Nike. That's the whole argument for people.
I know.
So
it's the tough part.
Where I was heading with that was, though, is Azuki has gotten to this level before today without the number 1 athletic clothing brand purchasing them in the world. So for Azuki to still be 13.85 after this and after today in general, like, I don't know. I'm a seller and recently I bought another one, which is stupid. So I'm back on the bandwagon now. But it is, I don't know. I still don't think I would buy a doodle because I don't like. Yeah, they're doing this new. Are
Short
they really
term could
creating
be
copies of stuff?
I don't think
unsure.
we
I
know
don't
what
know.
it is
They
yet.
haven't given all the details
The
yet.
They didn't talk about the
duplicator.
Because
Right.
their spaceship thing was dumb as shit. Like that was the biggest waste of time that the team could have possibly. Maybe they don't care about making money, but people literally couldn't care less that you made some cool new non-dilutive. Like they just want stuff that makes their NFT worth more.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't like the side of it that I'm like okay with is it didn't really like crush the value. Sometimes when you airdrop, that can crush the other value of your items because it's like baked
Yeah.
in. So that side of it kind of worked out. But yeah, I agree. It's almost like you got forced the space doodle that was connected to your doodle. So
it didn't
like,
do anything.
yeah, you
And
can't like
there's-
go find it, a new
Yeah.
one.
There was nothing to. So you have that, and then I think a Moonbird would be the only thing in the similar price range, which it's not even technically right now, that I would consider. If you offered me a 1-for-1 swap, my Azuki for a Moonbird, and I had to hold it for 6 months, I would think about it. Even if I didn't have a Moonbird, I would probably still. That's probably a coin flip for me. So
Sneaky.
I would probably do that.
I think Moonbird
As someone with 2 Azukis, I would probably trade 1 Azuki for 1 Moonbird at this point. But if I only had 1 Azuki, I don't think I would be trading that.
it's not a slam dunk, no.
No, it absolutely not. But I mean, I think the market's, telling us right now where they're at, right? That's why Moonbirds are at 20. I have it pulled up, and then Azuki's at 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
13.85. So I think
the-
that plays into it.
The biggest part for me is the guy Zagabond. He published an article himself that said these things. It's not like NFT Ethics went and found it, or some other scrub on Twitter went and found
God,
it.
if it would have been
Nice, right?
NFT Ethics,
Like,
oh my God.
There is a real
got
thing.
it out before anyone else. He's like owning to it in that sense.
Control the narrative is like you see it in TV shows, like especially that are about American politics. Like there is a real thing about controlling the narrative. So I think that's makes it a little different.
Is it weird this came out like a few days after they hired like that CEO from, I can't remember where it's from, but like did those stickers or right? Like
I think it was very
Hello
calculated.
Kitty.
There's no way that he just dropped, like they've been so good about all of their communication, other than maybe the beads reveal. But they've been it seems like they've just been they've been so intentional about everything. So to think that this announcement where he just randomly drops the fact that he, was the founder of 3 rugs, I think it's not a coincidence that it happened on maybe the craziest crypto day of the year. And maybe right after they announced the CEO thing and stuff too, so they could potentially separate themselves from him if they need to. But they might just be waiting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Sneaky. What if you had to pick one under that 20 range, Moonbird, Azuki, Clone X, or Doodles, what would you pick?
And you own none of them today.
Yeah.
You own 0.
You had to pick one. Ignore price. Assume you just had one and you had to hold that one for 5 months.
Best ROI.
I think I'm on Moonbirds. I mean, I am a holder now, but no, I mean, I guess I appreciate the team behind it, and I mean, I doubt Kevin Rose is going to rug us, and yeah, I don't know. I really just hate Clone X, how they look, even though they have Nike. I mean, that's awesome and all that, but I mean, okay, I'm not sure how great Moonbirds look either. I mean, they look great, of course, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's just high potential there.
Because they still haven't like the thing with Clone X is they've already given a lot of value back to the owners. what is like
Moonbird
left
has it,
for them
yeah.
to do. And as we've seen with other projects, like as you keep giving back, there's higher expectations for the next one. And what if it doesn't live up to the last one? And so Moonbirds haven't really done that part yet. But that's also why I think short term, I think Doodles could be a play since they've pulled back a little. But longer term, I think I'm higher on the Moonbirds. Just because like you could buy a Doodle today at 17 or whatever, and they drop this to you on Thursday. We don't know, that could be worth 6-7 ETH on Thursday. So you can have the quick value back, but the problem is the market right now is just kind of meh.
They didn't pump on the news, right? The Doodles.
They did, and then they pulled all the way back.
Okay.
They got up to like 25.
They pulled
last
back
week.
with it. I think they pulled back with everything else, though, didn't they?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me throw one more in the ring, and then we can go on to the next thing. What if we throw Kodas in there? Would you take a Koda over all those things? Because I think I would.
You would even take one over a Moonbird?
I think I would. Because we know there's only 10,000.
I would take one.
You don't know much about them still.
You don't know anything about them.
Short or long term?
Yeah.
If I had to hold for 6 months, I think I would still take a Koda over any of those things.
Because it's
6
part of
months.
Yep.
I just think like Koda's gonna see its day. Koda's gonna see its day. Like they haven't even like said what any of the land or the Kodas or the artifacts
Yeah.
are for, right?
It's
like
the upside.
there's
I'm
gonna
so
be
bearish on that game though.
well, but it's not.
It
to.
doesn't matter about the game.
We're gonna be out before the game gets here. Like no
Yeah.
one.
Well, yeah, but if
no-
you have to hold for 6 months, like
the
yeah,
game's
the
not
game
gonna
won't
be
be
out
out
in
in
6
6
months.
now and then.
There's no chance it's
I
gonna
mean,
be out in
that's
6
true,
months.
but you think, yeah,
Like I'm
There's
bearish
just-
on metaverses in general. Like I don't have no
Yeah.
interest. I think a lot of us feel that way, but like, you know, I think there's a potential for it to pump if they release info and start hyping it a bit. Like it's been total like radio silence, which is like weird to me. Like I just give us something, right?
Yeah, like I'm thinning out my bags right now, at least trying to, but no way I'm selling a Koda before they've said anything, because I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious that
It can.
whenever they do, it's just gonna rocket.
Like we're
Hopefully.
still higher on Koda than mutants
Yes.
right now.
Like
I
if I had to
separation
sell
is
one, I'd probably sell a mutant just because I think Koda has a better chance to pump. I don't think there's any like short term catalyst for mutants pumping. Like, but again, if I had to hold one for 6 months, that's a harder conversation because there's going to be mecha dogs and mecha apes and some other Ponzi that Yuga releases. But I just
right
think
now
I'd
mutants
rather a
are more
Koda.
expensive. So the
Yeah.
market is still choosing mutants, even though there's
Yeah.
a higher count. And
Well,
I think that's
I
the
mean, can you-
uncertainty factor, though.
Yeah.
can you blame it when mutants have gotten almost the exact same benefits that Bored Apes have? I mean,
Yeah.
they constantly
There's-
just get. I mean, I know it's been weighted, a little bit in Bored Ape favor, but for what you got the mutants for, a lot of them were airdropped. A lot of them were for 3 ETH. Like, I mean, that's just they've arguably had like just as you probably would have been better off months ago selling your Bored Ape into a mutant and just holding the mutants from there.
Yeah. I mean, the original Bored Apes were only $375. So we can't forget that. But I think the
You
Koda
can't.
I thought it
thing,
was even
though,
lower.
it's the perceived, like Trey said, that the game could be crappy. It's gonna be, I think that Kodas will have some utility in this game to allow you to make passive income. Like, I'm throwing the quotes out. We know, the 5 of us know, that that's all horsey, not gonna last stuff. But the rest of the people that are going to buy it from us
Our
are going to
exit
be like,
liquidity, you get
I'm going to
just-
make 50 ape coin a day, and I'm going to make $200 a day, and then I'm going to make $72,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all that we need. It's like when people say, well, the art's not very good. It doesn't fucking matter what the art says. Or like what it looks like. It could be a pile of shit, and if people want to buy it, then you want to have it. So
And like Bab
that's why I
said,
pick a Koda.
Like, what if they come out and say these Kodas are better than the other Kodas, and you bought that one on floor because no one knew that before? Then all of a sudden your Koda 3x's in value,
Yeah.
just because of that. Like right now, it seems like mega Kodas are being priced way higher, and those are clearly better for whatever
Yeah.
reason. But who knows? There could be a secondary layer of what's better than others.
Yeah, we just
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea, like no info. Like there's going to be
Yeah.
they'll release something that makes it pump. Like they wouldn't release info that's going to make it go down. So like whatever they tell you is going to be bullish. It's just when they announce it, how long we hold them for. I agree. Like
What are the market?
Yeah, what are the market
you
conditions?
guys,
Like
Yeah, market conditions at the time, I think, is probably the biggest thing, right? Like
I mean,
if it's a month from now and and everybody's already capitulated, I mean, what's a pump gonna do? You're gonna go from 50 to 60, right? Even though we were at 100 a month ago,
well,
or
that's the problem.
right
That's
now,
the
or
problem.
whatever. Yeah,
But don't we always face
It's
that? Like I
such a
feel
tough
like
call.
we've gone through this cycle before where it's like, well, maybe this is the beginning of the end. We always face the what if this is just down only? It hasn't been down only yet. Maybe this is the time. Let's hope it's not the time. But you know, excluding market conditions, I think Koda's is a better bet. Just hoping we don't continue to go to zero. I just think, like as we've always seen with land, and there's people out there that have like liquidity sideline just ready to spend it. Like we're always shocked at the amount of buys that happen when something bullish happens, but it's out there, it's waiting. Like we saw with the land sale, like people are just ready to deploy whenever they want. It's just they won't deploy until they have reasons to, and part of the reason is maybe the market turning around again. But
did the Azuki sale show that today? Or the Azuki like I was surprised to see.
People
I mean,
like to defend.
I was
Yeah.
based on the last week, like I had NFT nerds up every single day. I mean, I was seeing every single listing that came up because I was like competing against that floor movement, right? Because I was just continually moving down. So to see like, I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was just there was no hopium at all. It was just the price just kept going down. There was a few sales like here and there, but it was way overweighted by listings. But then to see it hit 12 or whatever, and to just see like, boom, it was back to being 20 sales a minute. That to me was a little bit inspiring. I who knows where we go from here, but I mean, that was at least injected a little bit of confidence in the weirdest way because we were dealing with a bunch of FUD and stuff. But to see like a bunch of people defend at 12 ETH or wherever it was that it got down to that low was at least a little bit of confidence. A little bit.
I agree.
So before I forget, because we have a few of these to do, but Sneaky has very graciously offered to give out a few gift cards to club holders. So going to run a marble race. We have 87 people that signed up.
Jeez. Oh my God, it's gonna be the biggest marble race ever.
Oh my God.
People are very interested.
Is it just
in
one
this
marble race and the winner gets the gift card?
We're gonna do three.
Oh, it's
Do
three.
you want it just the top three or three separate races?
I don't
long
know.
is the
Up
race?
to
We
you.
got to do
13
three separate races.
Yeah, we can talk
Yeah.
while they're going on. We're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was gonna say I'm just
Yeah.
gonna pull that up on the side while we keep going with it.
3 races,
Look at
and you
this.
can one person can only win.
Yeah, once you win, you
Yeah.
can't win a second
Yeah.
time. That's for sure.
I forgot
But,
to enter.
That's a lot of names.
Yeah, we had 87, decent amount.
Yeah, we have
I
like
don't think
five
count
people
everyone
in our Discord talking every day, and now all of a sudden there's a chance for free stuff, and they all
Yeah.
come out of the woodworks. It's like
yeah.
it's like 10 messages a day in our Discord. Oh, free stuff! 87 people show up.
Yeah. We like if I guess that's the secondary question, right? That sort of off of what we were saying before is like, what if all of these items went under like 10 ETH that we just talked about, right? Like if they were all under 10 ETH, would we just stay away from everything until the market is back? Like, do you guys have any sort of, I don't want to say like exit strategy in that sense, but Like,
I
is
have
there a
such a hard
number where if they all get down to, oh boy, you're a buyer or complete seller of your entire bag even?
like if they get below 10, I'm not going to bother selling at that point, but I'm also probably like, I have such a hard time trying to catch a falling knife. Like, I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys, but like it's just so hard to have that much confidence. People do it. Like
Oh, no.
these NFT guys, this is rigged. Easy is winning.
Easy
This
can't
is
win this.
ridiculous.
Easy.
Yeah, what
Like,
is
I don't want
what
Easy
is
to win
this
this.
shit? This is
There's
ridiculous.
plenty of time left.
Like even this afternoon, like, and you look at the sweeps channel, I'm like, who are these people buying this stuff like right now? Like the
Yeah.
world's falling apart. Like who's sweeping like Psychedelics Anonymous? Like I just never understand that stuff. But there's always people that are willing to, invest more in NFTs. I think if like some of these things got below 10, like there'd be people still buying, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there always seems to be some sort of buy pressure in a lot of these things. I think other people just believe in it long term, at least like the blue chip stuff, and they're like, oh, we'll wait for this down market to end before like actually panicking, because it's like the general market in general, like traditional markets right now, like everything is pretty down bad. So it's not like just one thing. Ooh, that was close.
fuck.
Easy.
Did he win?
Yeah.
He had
He-
like a
no.
Come on.
700-foot head start.
Jeez.
You also won my what do you call it?
The coin
super
flip?
Coin. Yeah. Fuck.
That was a pretty
He just
short
pushed for
race.
those games,
That one
though.
was kind of boring. I thought there was more going on.
Because
Kinda
I
he
mean,
had
I just
a-
chose a random one.
a
Well,
mile-
we
That
did
was,
the
that was
one
just
for
a
the-
warm up. That was just a warm up.
Yeah.
That one doesn't count. That one was just make sure it worked.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about just the macro overall markets right now. We talk about Terra a little bit. I'm not sure. Pump, do you have the best overview of Terra for us?
So most of UST is in the anchor platform, which gives out yield, and then they have reserves to give out the yield. There's some kind of burning mechanism that I can't explain very well between Luna and UST. Like you're always guaranteed to exchange it 1-to-1, but then if it gets out of balance, one gets burned and the other doesn't. The best way to describe it to someone simple like myself is there was a run on the bank where people just sold a shitload of UST. And because it's an algorithmic backed stablecoin, so like USDC and USDT, I believe they're like assets that just back them. It's like the US dollar. The government backs the value of a dollar.
Hmm.
Where UST, it's like a formula that backs the value of it. So if a shitload of people all sell at the same time, then it can lose its peg. So was it yesterday that it happened for the first time? No, it was on Saturday.
It was over the weekend because you guys
Yeah,
were
it was
giving
Saturday.
yellow alerts when we were watching the races
The
on
Kentucky
Saturday.
Derby.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
watching the
Derby.
Kentucky
We were all
Derby.
like, can we leave right now?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
do we
it
have
doesn't
someone's
to-
like,
yeah, we just hit the try key and we're fucking
Yep.
worried about the
Oh,
USD
dude.
tag. It's ridiculous.
So someone says that UST is code yellow, and at the time it was like 97 cents. So if you had UST, you could swap it for like USDC for 97 cents on a dollar. Doesn't sound that bad, but it's 3%. If you had, a lot of people treated Anchor as like a savings account.
Yeah.
You could have had 6 figures or more in Anchor. And 3% of 200K, like that's not fun to lose. So it kind of like restabilized, and the Terra Foundation, which is a centralized like body of people, it's human beings, they can take actions to like save the peg. They can buy assets and sell assets. Like they just bought a bunch of Bitcoin a couple weeks ago, and that pumped everything. And then today they're like, well, what's the foundation going to do? Are they going to save it? Or are they not going to save it? They tried to save it on Saturday. It was fine yesterday. And then today, like full collapse. I think we're at 85 cents last time I checked.
Yeah.
It got below
It's not
70.
under
We're currently at 77 on Binance.
Yeah.
77.
That's really, really like bad because it's for
Usually
all
that's
of our
like
bags.
0.97 at worst, right?
Yeah,
Like,
when something is like depegged badly, like we had this thing with MIM a couple months ago. It got to like 98 or 97 cents, and then it was fine. For it to go below 90 or 95, it's an asset that everybody thought was safe, even though it may not have been. That someone's going to get caught. If this goes to zero, if UST goes to zero, so many people are going to lose so many millions of dollars. It takes out trust in the market. It takes out trust in stablecoins. It gives Elizabeth Warren like this giant fucking sign to hold up. Like, I told you that stablecoins were terrible.
Worst part about all this is the fact that Elizabeth Warren is going to point to this and
She
just
is
fucking
smiling.
go off.
She is smiling. She's fucking laughing right now. She is
She's loving every
laughing.
second
She's
of
taking
it.
her
She's loving every
osteoporosis
second of
meds.
it.
Loving it. That's the issues. So it's not just like, oh, well, I don't have UST, so I don't care. You should care because it's one of the biggest TVL stablecoins that exist.
yeah. It's like
They had a lot of
15
trust in it.
billion,
It affects the
right?
entire market, like
Yes,
big,
absolutely.
big time, like
Hugely.
huge.
So yeah, we're kind of fucked.
So is there like, obviously, like it's way below right now. Like, how much is it really going to take to get back? Because a lot of people that may have already sold, like I know a bunch of us have already sold. Like, how many of those people are actually going to come back? Right? Like, is that just?
Shouldn't we be?
Is it
going to
already mostly
USDD
dead?
now?
I mean,
Should we swap to USDT, Sneaky? Is that what you
no,
said?
no, no. USDD. Isn't
What's
that what it's called?
USDD? Oh, is that
The
on Tron?
one. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Tron.
Jeez.
30%. 30% APY. I mean,
Probably safer as
oh,
of
dude,
now.
Sneaky's gonna get our channel in trouble for showing some shit coins or something.
I don't know
I don't
what
know.
the actions are for it to be saved. Like, I guess eventually the yields on Anchor become attractive enough where people come back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Doesn't it have? I mean,
Well,
doesn't it have to do with just the size of their treasury being able to combat the size of sell pressure that we're seeing? So, like, as bad as like, it's almost like this snowball thing, right? Where as the narrative gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and people start looking at this as an asset that's less safe, it just becomes this thing that continues to happen. Like, they have this treasury of Bitcoin that they can sell off and then buy more UST with to defend. But at what point does the sell pressure just get to be too crazy? Because there is a breaking point, right? And I mean, we got down to 60 cents and then it bounced back to 85. I mean,
Yeah.
But then what happens if they even if they do get it back to peg? Who's going to trust it? What are they going to do with? I mean, do they simply for a while there they crushed? I mean, a lot of it caused the price of Bitcoin to go down. So then, do they buy more Bitcoin at a better cost basis if they get it back to, where it's at peg? I don't know.
They'll have to raise.
It's just a massive mess.
Yeah.
And I can't see anybody trusting it after this, right? Like, everybody had been saying that it was battle tested. It is. I don't think it's battle tested now. It went to 60 cents and a lot of people lost a lot of money. So I can't imagine that there's going to be a whole lot of confidence in it going forward.
In Terra as a blockchain in general, a lot of people are going to lose confidence in, because a lot of those assets were backed by Anchor, which I thought was like it seemed like it was a brilliant idea in a way, where a lot of the NFT projects, they would have their trust in Anchor. So a lot of those NFT projects on Terra are probably getting so demolished right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
One, you gotta remember that Luna and UST are tied at the hip. Like, one's a stable coin and one's an altcoin,
Right.
but they are tied together. If UST goes to zero, Luna will go to zero. Like, they will move together both.
Well,
to
Luna could hypothetically go to zero and UST remains its peg if they use the treasury to build it back up. right? Like that
Yeah.
could hypothetically happen, but then again, if Luna's at 0, how many of those people that were holding Luna and were bullish on Luna were also in Terra and just got absolutely destroyed, right? So then
The chain would just
it's just a huge tangled mess.
Yeah.
At this point, right? Like I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it just seems like a lot of people saw it coming at least.
Yeah.
There's
You
no
probably
way that
get one because of the
20%.
other.
There's no way that 20% could last, and then it went to 18, and people started saying, okay, it'll probably get down to 10, and now we got 78 cents on the dollar for Terra. That sucks.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, there was almost like a cult this last 6 months that Luna and UST are a Ponzi in itself. And there's probably like 5 to 10 people in the world that if they don't all think it's a Ponzi, but there's 5 to 10 people or organizations that if they grouped up and said, let's tank UST, let's send to 0, and they all click the button at the same time, it would go to 0. So that's
3 Arrows Capital jump, and
because
I
3
mean,
Arrows, didn't they sell like 1.5 billion? That's how this all started, right?
There's got to be
about
something else going on.
I know I saw an Alameda tweet from the founder of Alameda that said,
well, I guess
"You're
3
not
Arrows.
selling
3
me."
Arrows is invested in. Aren't they maybe defending? I guess I think
There's a ton of money in Terra.
I'm not
in
so
general.
plugged in that I don't know who's got bags in which, but I guess I maybe saw that 3 Arrows Capital had bags in UST and was right along there with Jump. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So it's something to keep an eye on. The bottom line is something to keep an eye on. Even if you only do NFTs, you don't care about stablecoins.
Yeah.
It does matter for all of us, because if UST were to go to 0 when you wake up tomorrow, we're in all deep shit.
If you're into NFTs and you're making good profit and you're not also simultaneously into stablecoins and swapping into them, then you're probably not doing very good right now. So I would if you're I would educate yourself on stablecoins if you're sitting there not knowing what a stablecoin is, but you're also trading ETH for NFTs, because it could be your saving grace.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to say that, where like something you have not even known existed a week ago. Like a lot of people, I think, in our chat, we had the question, how many people even know what UST is? And
oh god,
probably over half didn't.
Well, might as well tell the people, for not everyone wants to yield farm or wants to absorb the risk. Like obviously USDC is the safest stable coin, fundamentally.
The safest is ApeCoin. But
ApeCoin is
Pers are
terribly.
the safest stablecoin.
But is there any other ones that you would recommend if people wanted to farm still in a safe manner? I mean, again, probably not getting the 19% APRs as Anchor would, but what else would you recommend?
It's probably on exchanges. Pump probably has some good insight on this, but it's probably on exchanges. I haven't shopped around to see where the best yields are for stable coins, but I mean, a lot of exchanges there were paying out 8-9% for a while, which obviously when you can go into UST or Anchor at 20%, it's way better. But at this point, like if you can stick US whatever in an actual centralized exchange and get 9,
just
8-9%,
hold it. Yeah, like just hold it on chain.
It's so much better to do. Yeah, it's better to do that.
There are people, I think, that don't like, they get all this ETH from trading NFTs and they want to hold it, but they don't want to send it to like Coinbase or something. At least just learn how to swap to USDC and just hold it in your wallet.
Well,
like if you want to have it ready, just hold it and like have your $1 profit to keep. So,
well, in like when I sold my Azuki today, I did the whole taxes thing. Pump's gonna kill me. I swapped a certain amount of it for my taxes, and I just set it there. And now, I've got my tax account. So keep that into account too. And if you can even earn 8 or 9% on the stuff that you're swapping, into stables when you make those big NFT sales, like it makes a difference. And it gives you that little bit of, bolster to your bankroll where when tax season comes around next year, we all just went through it. It's a little bit maybe easier to handle than it was last year, because it was all of our first years going through it. So I think just being conscious of that, when I was ripping off NFT sales last year in July and August, I wasn't consciously thinking I should probably be swapping to stables and farming on Anchor, or farming on Curve, or wherever it is. Now I am. So it's, you just got to be better about that, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't farm on ETH, though.
Don't farm on what?
On ETH. You won't be able to farm on ETH mainnet.
Oh, yeah.
Much.
It's funny because I got introduced to Anchor like a year ago, I think, in May, but I didn't have enough bankroll. Like I moved money over. I was like 20%. And then I moved like $1,000 over or something like that. I was like, wait, I think gas fees at the time were like a couple $100. So I was like, wait, I did the math in my head and quickly realized that I had probably just actually lost myself money by moving over to Anchor and earning my 20%. So that was kind of a fun learning experience a year ago. But yeah, I mean, it's just stuff that you got to take into account.
Yeah. Do we still have are you guys still on Aave at all?
No, their yields got the only time Aave is like
Polygon.
Is what it was Polygon and Avalanche for a hot minute, but
yeah.
The next big stable thing on the horizon is the Near ecosystem. It's supposed to be coming out with a stablecoin that's modeled after UST, which now I don't know if they're rethinking it or not. But they said they were
gonna model it after that right now.
They said they're gonna have 10% yield, but I don't know. For now, I got out of my UST. I just am holding stables in my wallet. Like there's stuff I could be doing. But unless you're farming with huge size on an L2 or an L1, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
So
oh baby, I'm in this one.
Oh, Babs is top 3 right now.
Oh damn.
It's hard to focus.
It is one of those things where it's like if you have 50K earning, how much, even if you just keep it off in a week, what are you earning in a week? Like a couple $100. It's probably just worth it. That was my thinking with UST the other day. Is well, if I just down
real bad.
If you just take a week off of farming the 20%, for the few $100, it's worth the downside risk of this potentially going to zero. So that was sort of my thinking.
I was having that exact discussion with a friend of mine today, who is still unfortunately in USD. But it's when it was at 95 cents, why not take that 5% haircut and just see how it plays out? Because that downside, if you were plugged into crypto, and maybe I gotta imagine the people that were able to technically get their money over to Anchor on Terra are following crypto pretty closely. You can take a 5% haircut, or you can wait and see what this could go to a 50 it got down to 60 cents today. Right. And I think everybody was aware of the downside if it did depeg and it did start to spiral out of control. So I guess, yeah, I mean, when you see it there and there was most of the people in our Discord got out at above 96. There's plenty of time for most people to get out, I think. Yeah. That wanted to, that weren't willing to take that risk. So yeah, maybe it was a flawed process for the people. I don't know. But
it's not like it was 0.985 or something.
It's
a lot more likely that it's going to keep going down at 0.95 kind of thing. That 5% is
everybody knew this was a Ponzi and it could go to zero. Right? I don't know.
I just feel bad. I just feel bad for the people that were not everyone can be plugged in their computer for 48-hour stretches. Like I feel bad for the people that were like maybe away for the weekend and they come back and they're
no, that sucks for
they're
sure.
basically wrecked, right?
Yeah,
but I guess
awful.
maybe that's like bad outcome on a 72-hour kind of.
Look,
That's
if
a good
take one.
If you're like super plugged into crypto and you happen to be, out for the last 48 hours, then that really sucks. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine that there was like too many people who are super like so plugged in that they were able to get their money over to Anchor, but then don't, like Dangy. Dangy's on vacation right now, but he was plugged in enough to know that
It's time to get out.
probably you have to be, and it sucks. Easy said it. You can't really go on vacation. There's too much risk in this space, even when you're in a stablecoin that's perceived as safe. So
Like
you
being
just have to
completely
be
checked out.
No, you can't be completely
You
checked
can't
out. Like
ever.
you have to be lurking in the Discords or on Twitter at all times just to make sure that you're not getting absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Right?
which is also
Like-
exhausting. But yeah,
It
Well,
is.
it is exhausting, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
Especially you think that's your
were the
safest
Azuki-
asset.
Were
Yeah.
your Bored Ape games exhausting, Babs? Were those like
no,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it is like
So that's
it's
the risk reward that we play.
well, it is like I'm not complaining about the money we've made. It's more it is an exhausting investment space to be in, right? Like it's not like you're just like buying your stocks and you're checking out for 4 months and you check in on them every once in a while. It's just the nature of the beast that we're in, but it doesn't mean it's any less exhausting than it is, right?
Makes it really hard to get people into the space because you're like,
Yeah. Because they only hear about the bad stuff.
this is what I'm doing, but if you want to get into it, which most of the people that you talk to just want to like passively invest in it.
Yeah.
If they want to get into it, you're like, well, if you want to do what I'm doing, you have to spend
Be online 24/7.
you have to be, spending at least 20 hours in Discord or in crypto a week. If
that's
probably
low, yeah.
like way more, like it truly is way more. But like if you even threw 20 hours out to somebody initially when they were first getting into crypto and you said this is what you got to do to make it, most people aren't getting into it because they don't have that. So it's tough.
I've failed to onboard a couple.
So many people.
Friends just because like I got them set up, MetaMask and everything. A couple weeks goes by, they're plugged in, they're following along, they learn how to mint, and then they kind of just trail off because I was like, hey, did you guys KYC? No. Well, I told you to KYC. I didn't have time. I'm like, this was a week ago.
They took 5 minutes.
Oh my god,
not such a bad excuse.
It's ignorance. Like they just don't know. Like if you're not
know.
actively in it. What? So they didn't KYC even though they knew that they could make how much money off of KYC?
Well, so that might have been a bad example because we didn't know it was for, but I like, hey, do this because it'll probably pay off later. And then they just ignore it. Like if the money's not right in front of their eyeballs right now, then they haven't been in it long enough to know this is probably something I should do.
Yeah.
Your opinions about KYC aside, if you were okay with it, it's something that I should do.
Yeah.
So it's, like you said, you got to be plugged in. I was at freaking Disney World, like waiting in line for a ride with a 2-year-old looking at Discord, like just checking in to see if there's something I should know. So you have to be able to be paying attention.
Yeah.
At least just reading. Like you got to be able to intake information and decipher it really, really quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't enter the Moonbird raffle, or
that was so
there
tough.
are people out there that won the raffle and didn't mint it. Like that. That's the other thing that's crazy to me sometimes is like
Painful.
when people win these raffles and they have that extra stuff that they potentially could have gotten into and just didn't. And I don't know. It's like the tough part is like we're very deep into this. So it's a little different from our point of view, but I don't know.
Yeah, I made sure to remind my family members when the Moonbird raffle was on. So
Oh yeah,
Sneaky's
yeah, and half of them won.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, all your,
Half of
yeah,
it.
your whole
Family.
family won the Moonbird raffle. They all won. They all got at least one. They did
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
Philly wants you to know that the Zookies are getting
There's
swept.
there's just a
Or
dark.
Uh-oh,
Oh,
uh-oh.
Zuki sweep.
fuck.
Oh, we're back up to
12.
14. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been wild with that.
It's
Are you
not.
guys looking forward to anything this week? And there's the PXN thing. Ragnarok was another one. But like, are you guys looking forward to anything right now, or just kind of like sitting and waiting a little bit?
I have zero interest in minting anything. Like
Oh no.
absolute zero.
No.
Like not. I'll hope the NFT market bounces back with my current bags, but like there's nothing really I'm interested in minting right now. Like it would have to be like the bluest of bluest chip projects to come out that would make me want to mint. I don't know what
It'd
you
have to
guys-
be like a mega brand. Like
Yeah.
it'd have to be the clearest like
There is one of
discrepancy
those.
in pricing,
This
you
week.
know, compared to what is it? I mean,
So
all
it's the Forgotten Wizards are doing
Yeah.
their second
Okay.
collection.
yeah.
It's a Dutch auction. If you entered the pre-mint, you can go to their website now and see if you got on the list. But they're doing a public for like 7,000 of them, of the 15,000. The Dutch auction rests at 0.6, which I agreed with you, Lou, earlier today. I thought that was too high of a resting price.
Yeah,
I still think it's something to watch. Like if it sells out at an ETH in the public auction, I will probably buy one and try to flip it for half an ETH and take my profit.
people are
move along.
frothy.
Yeah.
is what
But
that
like
would
you
mean.
said, Trey, I think
Well,
people
what is
would
their
consider
what's
What's
their
their
actual
floor?
brand.
what's their floor
It's
price?
almost
2.5,
3.
3.
It's almost
yeah.
3.
Almost 3?
No, that's not bad.
It-
2.47.
It was
Yeah.
earlier.
There's no way their secondary collection is going to be worth an ETH at 15K though.
He's
right?
saying if the Dutch starts
If
going,
it sells out at 1,
At an
Yeah.
ETH. Okay, well then either
Yeah.
their floor price right now is way too low,
Yeah.
or
I'm
But
not saying
what
it's a
if
slam
it's
dunk.
not
is
Like-
lower. What if it goes lower? That's the other thing. Like if it starts
it's a
dipping on
0.6, I'll buy
secondary,
one.
you know, like I could see, like I think realistically the price of those should be about 0.5, like fair market value after reveal XYZ. So you know if it dips after their sale because they don't mint it all out, so they then say okay we're going to change the price of the sale, then I think I'd have
Yeah.
interest in it.
I like Forgotten Rune Wizards because they were one of the first mints that I think probably one of the first top. I think
They're a
they made
fun
it
mint.
they made it on my spreadsheet P&L that didn't last that didn't last very long. So they got a special place in my heart, but like at 0.6 for a secondary collection at 15K, no way I'm buying it.
It's
0.6.
it's
Like
just-
there,
it's
unless I
something to
see that
watch.
in this market, like in
Yeah.
this economy,
What-
there's just
so
no way.
what-
They have a
Is it-
pretty
I'm not.
deep, like
The only thing
community
is-
to them,
And they
too.
have like a game coming out or something. Like it seems
Yeah,
kind of
and so
cool.
that's the
actually.
thing. This
They've
new
always-
collection is
no, they-
playable in
yeah.
the game without a wizard.
Okay.
And they-
Wizards, I'll probably mint just because the Wizards was my favorite minting experience ever. Like it was so cool. Like I
That
don't know if
was
you remember.
cool.
It was
Yeah,
really
it was
cool.
like the exploding. Wasn't there like a
was
tower?
like a big
that had,
tower,
like,
yeah.
it like exploded or something.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like for back then, like people put no effort into their minting pages. So like that one was
No.
really cool.
Yeah.
It was like nothing at all. And
It
that
was a
one was
cool
like
one.
shockingly cool. So like I'll probably mint
Yeah.
one just for nostalgia. But
Okay, I mean, I will give you that. But
on Wednesday
when I'm
at
just
1.
it's okay.
At 1.
everything
Tomorrow is
else,
the
it's just so hard.
Dutch,
To,
I think, right?
Tomorrow.
No, the Dutch is Wednesday at 12 Eastern or at 1 Eastern time. 8,000 warriors for the public, then the mint list, and
Next
then
day.
any leftover on Friday. So
Yeah.
it's the only thing that I could even think of that'd be worth logging in for if you were out this week would be to watch that. And that's not even like a slam dunk. So
I think
Not
the
at
Doodles
all.
is still worth watching because there's enough whales in on Doodles that if you got something cool, people would pay up for. I think they still have upside.
Yeah.
It still depends on what they announce it is. If it's something like, I don't know, Monolith, where this device is basically like some sort of generator, the duplicator is what it's called, and you just like can get more NFTs from it. The last sneaky there. Then that could be something that has some upside to it if you watch the price on. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of stuff that's starting to come out this week, but I think we might see teams pushing off their mint again. We went through that cycle before. Or what I'm hoping for is we bring back the free mint meta or like cheap mints.
Yes. I crushed free mint. I love
When's the
free
last
mint.
one that's been any good though? They dust so hard
wonky
lately. I feel
stonks,
like.
man.
There is
Wonky
one.
stonks
OSF is doing a free mint at some point. OSF has a pretty decent following.
I thought you had to do the whitelist.
OSF doesn't.
Though. I thought there was whitelist only.
Right, but that's like if you have like the degens, regens, those things.
Yeah.
You get on it, but that is one that could start low that has some upside to it because it's free to, but I don't know. It's probably gonna start at like a half ETH floor just because that's what those other collections are at this point. So I don't know. That was the thought that like teams aren't selling out at 0.2 anymore. Like the NFT worlds, they did their 0.4 and they could barely get that many sales on it. And I think once teams start realizing that, the way you bring people back is having like a 0.04 mint. And I mean, I think that's going to have to be how some of these teams that have been sitting around that you already got on the whitelist for that haven't minted yet, I could see them adjusting from what they originally thought they were going to do.
Azuki's back to 15 floors, so we're not completely dead yet, guys.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
It felt so wrong to sell it this morning. Pump. What were your feelings after selling your Zunks this morning? Your Zook this morning.
So I was deciding between my mutant, Moonbird, or Azuki, and said my JPEG's too heavy. Gotta sell one. I didn't want to, like, I was going to commit a sin, so I didn't want to sin under the eye of Jesus, Kevin Rose. So I didn't do that.
Smart.
I didn't want to fade Yuga Labs because there is no second best, so I can't fade them. So I sold my Azuki. I took an above floor with offer. I felt terrible about it. Wasn't even happy about it.
As you should.
I wasn't going to be like, dang, and be like, oh, someone paid me $50,000 for my JPEG. I wanted to keep my JPEG.
Well, yeah, because they only paid you, 34,000 or whatever it was.
So then the FUD comes out, and I get a DM from someone that's like, yo, you did really well on your sale this morning. And then they're like, it's at 12. It's at 13. So I'm like, shit, I swapped back to ETH from my USDC.
Oh, my. Oh, my God.
And I rebought. So I was happy and felt good. It's kind of like when I got rid of my UST last night. I was like, I can go to sleep tonight and know that I took a lot of profit, or I'm safer than I was before. And then now I'm not anymore. So
the funniest is you swap back.
It is.
You swap back from USDC.
That actually is hilarious.
Like
that is so funny.
But ETH was way lower.
Zooks are kind of lava though. Actually, like
I know.
They're back. People are back on the Zook train.
I mean, there's been quite a few sales in the last couple minutes.
Sneaky should have swept it with all of his ape profit.
Yeah, he still can.
Maybe that's the move. Is you just have like
10 sales in 5 minutes.
Fake bud.
Come on, this could be the bottom or like the lower low.
We hit a couple bottoms, and I feel like it's been like a W. We went down to like 10, and we popped back up to 15, and then went to 12 again.
The nerds graph is a mess. It doesn't look like a U or a W or anything. It just looks like a massive blob because it's all happened so quick.
Yeah. Are the beans moving as well?
They've had some
I know Lou wants to move. Lou wants to know about the beans because he bought.
I have a couple beans.
Lou might have bought the bottom on beans.
They're
No,
at
they got
2.2.
lower.
Did they really?
Oh yeah,
Below
they were
the
under 1.5
1.75?
for a little bit.
Ton
I
of
thought you
volume
might-
though at 2.2.
Yeah,
There's
Like
2.2.
every
Yeah.
2-3 sales a minute probably at 2.2.
Well, that's what Azuki's doing that too. I mean, Azuki's they've had 10 sales in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah,
you
there's
guys
quite a-
forget we have the red jackets coming soon.
Oh,
If we
thought I
don't get the
forgot.
red jacket from the video, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna be
Why would
so
they not?
pissed.
Why would they not do that red jacket? Like that's the thing. Like I hate they disclaimered it. Like why would you not release that? I would rock that thing. It's the only reason I haven't sold my
I would
Azuki
love
yet.
to see Babs in a Azuki bomber jacket.
It'd be amazing. It
That's the
actually
only reason you didn't
No.
sell.
No, it wasn't the bomber jacket from the party.
Or the
It
red,
was-
no
or
the red one, the
leather
clean
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Like it was
like
like
a
the
leather
Adidas
jacket.
one, wasn't it?
No, did you
Or like
not
a
see the
jumpsuit
video,
jacket.
Trey?
I did see that video of the girl in front of the plane or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But it wasn't like leather. It was just like a nice like windbreaker jacket.
Okay,
Yeah,
Here.
it was.
I'll show you right now.
Show it. You can show it.
we'll pull that shit up.
It was this.
Didn't they say this
Yeah.
is not an ad or
yeah.
something? Weren't they very?
Look at that.
I was,
Oh.
yeah, that is sweet. I was thinking of the one from, probably from their party
Oh,
that they
yeah.
had on
Yeah,
like
that one's too much.
display.
Yeah, that had like the
Right.
lion. It was like
That-
the lion.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Look at
Babs, I
that.
still really want you to wear that.
I'd
Yeah.
probably rock that one too. But this one I would actually wear. Like it's simple
Yeah.
it's
No, it's
clean.
sweet.
Like it's
For
one of
sure.
the few NFT merch that I actually want to wear. You
But
know?
like you said, they did disclaimer that and say this ain't it, right? Which is a horse
yeah,
shit.
but like I don't
but-
know.
It said the branded items in the video are props and concepts that are not for sale.
Yeah.
I would pay pay
Currently.
1/8 for that
Yeah.
jacket.
Yeah.
Jacket's
AC
sick.
merch is still the best, right?
No,
No,
what's the back look
no,
like? Show the back.
no.
Show the back.
Oh
The back.
no.
It's the back is too much. Like if it was
I
just
heard he
that.
got his.
Oh, that's
Oh,
an
no,
ad
that's
on
the bomb
Bomb
squad.
Wait, you got the
Yeah,
bomb
that's the-
squad?
Yeah, that one's
Oh,
alright.
Creatures have the best merch.
Yeah, that
Their
one's alright.
price is not great, but
This
the
last
merch
batch
is
they
good.
did was trash, but we've already beat
That'd be a
that
lot
one.
cooler if it was
It's-
lemon
it's
merch.
great merch.
maybe.
I have
Or
like
lemons.
$1,500 of merch coming in. It's all
Yeah.
Lemons
How
might
much-
be a slow run.
How much was that
too.
merch worth when Ape was $24? How much would you have spent on that merch?
Let's not think about it that way. I mean, 1/8 equals 1/8.
That's why you gotta
so.
be that way, man. Why you gotta bring that up?
Sneaky always makes fun of me for selling my Ape too early. He kind of deserves it. It's my
We
one
sold above
jab.
100. Like
You
what
did
the
sell your
hell?
ape too
Like,
early.
Yeah, I
You
did sell it too early though.
That is
you did.
that is
yeah,
fact.
you did.
But
That is a fact.
You
'cause
missed
it
the
was before
200K
that-
airdrop.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
It was the airdrop.
But I'm not even mad about when I sold it though. Like it went down to like 68 after I sold it. I should have bought back is my problem if I really wanted to. Selling when I sold
That's
wasn't bad.
true.
for
Yeah,
me.
Buying
the
back's the
process.
hardest thing
The
to do.
process.
The
wasn't
process-
bad.
the
Yeah,
process
if you look at
worked.
it, if you look
Like,
at it that
so-
way, for
But
sure.
what if we're in a point now where we should be buying apes? I mean,
Well, that's the
let's
thing. You
see.
don't know
That's
though.
before
right?
200 each, right? I mean,
But the problem is like, what's the short-term catalyst for buying an ape right now, right? Like what? Like you're not getting
Yeah.
airdrop 200 grand. The staking maybe when that starts, like that maybe. But
yeah,
otherwise,
5
like I don't.
Kodas
Safety?
or 1/8.
I
Yeah,
guess.
I think the 5 Kodas have more upside short-term,
I agree.
right?
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But
You might get
Upside.
6 right now, honestly.
just buy a
So
pump.
yeah, you
and
probably
just-
would. What is like what's Koda floor? Do the math.
15-ish. I
It was
think.
16 when I was looking.
It was 16.
During
Yeah,
the show.
I can
yeah
pull
you
it up.
get 6 probably.
17,
You probably get close to
17.
6.
What? Have there
Something.
been 3-4 sales since I was looking? Oh,
Should have
man.
bought Lou.
Yeah,
Too
it's
late.
at 16.98.
Okay.
It's so hard right now because it's like shopping. Like you're looking, you're like, oh, that's like a good price, but is it going to keep going down? And you just don't know. And if one of these times you go to buy, you know, maybe like a cool cat, and it just never, it literally by the top of a cool cat. You never know. Cool cats are
Guys.
under 4
Well,
ETH
yeah.
right now.
Well, yeah, because they're fudding Azuki. Like, what a.
I
what a
know.
joke.
That,
Like,
I mean,
can
they
you
were
believe
down
that?
before that.
Can you believe it?
I'm about to delist my Azuki right now. I'm gonna do it. I'm
What?
an idiot.
You were
Oh wow.
They're almost at 17.
My ape is relisted already at 141.
I tried to buy that Azuki at 10, but it got botted so hard. Like it was one of those where the bot went in, had the purchase and accepting the WETH order all in one. I was like, how am I supposed to buy anything cheap anymore?
Yeah,
the bots are gonna catch it.
Azuki is kind of flying right now. Not gonna lie,
I just fucked up.
We're
Did
4 from
Zagabond
17.
respond?
4 from 17.
Oh no! Oh
What
no!
happened?
I have my
bad.
preset advanced gas set to 2,500 from the
Oh
last.
no!
No,
Did you
no.
fire it? You fired it.
I canceled a 2,500 clay.
How much? How much was it?
I think it was like 0.2.
Oh my god!
That's why I don't do it because I don't like pay attention. I just click too fast, and I'm like, I just don't
Yeah.
preset it
The
anymore.
preset
Yeah,
is so
preset.
nice if you're disciplined about it and can
Yeah.
like remember to go back in and adjust it after. But like, yeah, I got burned on that. I spent,
Oh, it makes
I
me
think
sick.
what did you just wait? What did you just do?
So in the new MetaMask update, you can set a GUI figure so you don't have to edit it for like a gas war. So when you did those
Yeah, that's what
dumb fucking mind blown things,
Oh,
I set it to 2,500. And if you do a transaction, you have to take it off advanced. So like normally I'm not in a hurry or I'm paying attention and not talking to 4 other people. So I do click it and then click market or whatever. Blue, share my screen.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh no!
What were you trying to do? Oh,
He's listing his
no.
Azuki. Oh no!
I mean,
Oh,
think of
geez.
how much more profit he's gonna get with the Azuki.
Yeah, that just
than
you
the
paid
0.2.
for it. Right?
That's
You had
gonna
to
fuck with his head, though. You know it. Okay,
You
but,
had to fast
like,
gas it to not lose it, right? Because it's going back to 20. It would have got swept.
Yeah, Gump just has to win the next model race. Then
That's sick.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I
So-
don't even know.
Don't use the advanced gas settings unless you're doing a gas war. I'm gonna go turn off right fucking now. God,
Yeah,
that pisses
Yeah,
me
while
off.
you're thinking of it.
Like I just pissed away 400. It's fishy to think about USD. I just pissed
Yeah.
away $475
That's more than the original.
just
board
by
game
clicking a
thing.
button. I know, $100 more. I mean, I've taken enough profit out of my Azukis that I feel okay with it about where I'm at, but yeah,
Yeah, it's still not fun.
hurts.
Still
Yeah.
not fun.
No, that's no. You never like
it was a
as
joke,
much
you
as
guys. It was a bit.
I know.
Okay, bro.
Jeez.
But what was your Azuki listed at? What was your Azuki listed at? Because we're back to 16.5 now, and that's
I
pretty
had
high.
it was at 17.5 because I had buyer's remorse after I bought back in. So I was trying to just get out again. But now I'm gonna be greedy.
Yeah, but now it might go back to 20 now, and that 0.2 you'll pay yourself off.
There's a good amount. There's a lot of sales, like legit
we talk
sales,
about-
not just offers.
Something real quick, because I have to go cancel my Looks Rare listing as well. Can we talk about this dumb Looks Rare farming real
Looks
quick?
rare.
Okay, I hate this. This is ridiculous.
I got greedy.
What are they?
I got greedy today, and I had I have two very floor lands, and I have two like not
You got
floors.
two
Like one had
both.
an artifact, and one had like rare resource or whatever. But I was like getting greedy and trying to like farm like not the 2,000 looks points one, but the 800 one.
Mm.
And like the floor kept dropping hard today, and I was trying to farm the 800, and then like I kept trying to get those in the 800, and I lost two of them today because I wasn't watching it close enough, because it did go down from to like 2.45, and it made it look like it was going to 0, and then I think it bounced back to 2.8 pretty quickly, and yeah, two of mine got swept. But I do think this looks rare farming is just killing floors though, because like guys like me are doing that all day.
What are they
Yes.
doing? Like seriously, what did they think they were doing?
They
It's
they
super smart,
want
Looks
you
rare.
to sell it
Smart.
on theirs. They
Yeah.
No,
want
super
I
you to
smart
fucking
by Looks
hate
Rare.
looks rare now though. Like
They get part of that.
I mean,
At Pump, you should be farming your Azuki. It's #1 now. So
Azukis are so lava. Dingling just
No.
bought
I've
two.
been farming the beans. Oh man,
Dingling's protecting
Dingling's
us.
buying.
17 and
Oh
a half.
no.
He's a big
17
protector.
and a half.
We're
It
back
would be
up
gone
to
if I didn't
we're
do
back up to
list.
where I
Yeah,
It's
see,
gone.
Gump,
We're
you
back
had to
up-
fast gas it. You made yourself money.
Hey, that actually.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's good actually because you
Why
got
didn't you guys?
you need like
why didn't
you
you
need
guys
like
make me
6 more
buy?
sales.
I told you to buy
Oh,
one.
fuck off, Sneaky.
We told you to buy 100 times.
You know what the
Yeah,
wild
yeah.
thing is like it's at 17.5 and it was 18 this morning when I woke up, and like that's pretty good considering the market today. Like it's like the FUD almost is gonna give it more attention.
That's what I said.
Like,
That's
it's
what I
so
said
weird.
in the-
It's
That's what I
so
said in
weird.
the Azuki Discord. What if we U harder and Azuki just brings back the NFT bull market? Like, what if one time? Why not us?
Because
Right?
honestly, like Trey, like you probably watching it, like Azuki had like hardly any sales volume in the last
Oh,
like
it was
3 or 4
awful.
days.
It was so
like
bad.
you get
I was
you
depressed.
get like
man.
4
Like,
to 5 sales a day, and it was like just dry, and it was like basically a race to zero. It felt like,
yeah,
and now
it wasn't that
you
bad. I mean,
but-
it was like one sale an hour, maybe.
maybe though,
And
right?
even
It
like
wasn't-
maybe, yeah, there was 2 sales 1 hour and then none for the next 3 and that type of thing. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a fun floor to watch, especially when I was listing at like 35.
yeah.
And that was basically the floor like a week ago. So, but good to see it coming back up now for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of wild actually.
I mean, it's like, it's kind of lava now.
No such thing as bad news, right?
Do we have another marble race to do?
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
I think
let's
we
do
have
the
one more,
marble
right?
race in.
Yeah, and then we should
That's cool.
land the plane.
Should we do it as a walk off?
Yeah, you can land.
Ooh, I like that.
Let give Sneaky a chance to say something else before we kick him off.
I have
Sneaky,
nothing.
what's your
Yeah,
final
say-
thoughts before the race and the walk off?
I mean, have you guys been playing the Ether Orcs game?
Ether Orc? I think Gabs
Sneaky.
plays that.
That's
I
not
haven't
where I
pl-
expected that to go.
I have not played because I know I just don't have time to play, so I haven't even bothered like trying it. And I've been trying to sell
Oh.
my orcs, and it is like completely illiquid. Like
What are orcs at these days?
It's just so annoying because I mean, it's honestly a pretty solid game, but once again, it's back to that where don't deliver anything, promise everything, right? I mean,
yeah, like the game looks okay actually, which is the sad part. Like you said,
It's
it looks like a
decent. I-
decent game.
yeah, I played it a little bit,
But-
but
yeah, no one's buying now, and it's just
Yeah.
completely like I think the floor is like 0.8 now, which is
That was my
which is
thought with
me.
the Forgotten Runes. Is it's like the game looks like it is doable and would be cool and playable, fun, but then you're gonna add 15,000 NFTs. And then all of a sudden the price is going to go down because you have that many more NFTs and that many more people. You know, how many orcs are there? Is that a 10K collection?
There is 5,000, a little over 5,000.
Yeah. So like they don't really have too big of an issue on supply.
But they have the allies too, so there's like
Yeah.
2,000 of all those. So yeah, in total there's like I think a little over 10,000 playable characters or something like that.
yeah.
How does that
Another
game
thing-
work? Is that a point click one or no?
It's like turn based.
Yeah, turn-based, yeah.
That's
Okay.
how I would
And
describe
you
it.
like you're in a dungeon and yeah, you have to kill these mobs, and in the end you get loot. That's basically it. But it's pretty solid, like good mechanics and stuff.
It's probably like the Raiders game, Crypto Raiders.
Yeah, similar, I think.
I didn't try that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I have
where
another
you-
question. So if Yuga comes out with some news soon, tomorrow, whatever, would you guys sell in the pump, or are you gonna hold?
Okay, I have a confession to
You
make.
go?
I sold my Coda today.
Oh,
Oh,
I-
he's just
you were
hiding
gonna
it the
tell
whole
us when we were
time.
talking about
Just
Koda.
hiding it the whole time.
Look, I couldn't
Wow.
just. You guys were just talking up the Codas like crazy. I couldn't just throw it out there. You know?
So what'd you sell for?
It was 17, I think. So
I mean,
Yeah, that's
imagine
not
look,
that's
I
selling into
mean,
a pump.
I was a little bit over leveraged in NFTs. I feel a lot better now after selling an Azuki and my Koda. So I'm kind of just, I would, if the floor continues to go down on either of them, I'm probably looking to jump back in, but we'll see kind of how things end up. But It was just I needed to take some profit on projects that were just guaranteed profit.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, Wassel won the last. That was hard to say.
Congrats.
Last of the Marvel races.
Wassel won the last.
We will get Sneaky in contact with Easy Tig. Tig always wins these. I feel like he's won. He won a purr in one of these before, and then Wassel. So we'll get you guys that info. So thanks.
Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow because it's 5 a.m. here. So
yeah, Sneaky's in feature. He's already on May 10th over there. So yeah, we'll get in touch with you. What are you, paper hands over there for pump?
I was on mute. I had to put my Trey costume on.
Oh, man.
Fuck off, dude.
Well, we're glad that you guys hopped on for this stream. It's hopefully we're in better spirits next week. I feel like we weren't in terrible spirits for this, but hopefully it's not another week of things being down 50% from where we're at right now. Hopefully that scenario I brought up of things being under 10 ETH doesn't come true by the time we're here next Monday. But besides that, we will leave you guys with another case where that's happened.
So the market cap is $2.168 trillion. And now the market, oh, it went to zero. Yo!